The parliament in Australia has officially voted in favor of legalizing gay marriage. Now, the final approval in the House of Representatives, with just 4 votes against it, came 3 weeks after a national referendum showed strong public support for gay marriage. The Senate had already passed the legislation last week. Now, that referendum actually indicated that 61% of the voters were in favor of legalizing same-sex marriage, but it was non-binding. So I was curious to see how it would play out with Parliament, and luckily they did take action and they did vote in the best interests to represent the people of Australia and what they wanted. Now, the new law expands an earlier legislation that provided equality to same-sex couples in areas like government benefits, employment, and taxes, and it also changes the definition of marriage from the union of a man and a woman to the union of 2 people. It automatically recognizes same-sex marriages from other countries as well. Now, this is great news, obviously, but there was also another component to this story that happened earlier in the week that we didn't get to, unfortunately. So I thought now would be a perfect opportunity to do so. Tim Wilson, who is a member of parliament and who is also gay, decided to do something pretty extraordinary while talking about this legislation. Take a look.
This debate has been the soundtrack to our relationship. We both know this issue isn't the reason we got involved in politics. Give us tax reform any day. But in my first speech, I defined our bond by the ring that sits on both of our left hands, and that they are the answer to the questions we cannot ask. So there's only one thing left to do. Ryan Patrick Bolger, will you marry me?
Okay.
I like it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Look, it's frustrating that we have to fight and fight and fight to just get people to recognize that gay human beings should be treated the same way as straight human beings. It's not that hard an ask. It shouldn't be. We're all people. We're all the same. And these are democracies, Australia, America, yet we still struggle and we still fight for the bare minimum. The bare minimum is equality, not equality in results, equality of opportunity, equality in rights. And so, but on a day like today, we really should take a moment to celebrate, okay? The right wing is correct in one thing. There are culture wars. They're actually right about another thing. They always warn on Fox News that we're winning the culture wars, and they are right. We are winning the culture wars. Our side of the culture war says that all human beings are equal. They say that's not the case. They have all these different categories, and for gay people, that they're definitely a lower category. I am thrilled that we're beating them in the culture war. And look, 61% in Australia, now the overwhelming majority in America, and in so many other places. Yes, with the help of the internet and our interconnectedness and knowledge and truth and information, people are looking around and going, wait a minute, well, they keep saying that being gay is unnatural. If it's so unnatural, how come there are so many gay humans all throughout the world? How come it happens in nature? And perhaps some of our ancient hatreds are in fact ancient and make no sense at all today. So yes, we're winning. On a day like today when Australia passes this, I am thrilled and I'm proud to be on the right side of history, and I'm so happy for our LGBT brothers and sisters in Australia, and I hope we win all across the world and crush the demagogues on the right when they try to deny equal rights to our fellow human beings.
So of course I'm happy that there's a little more equality for gay couples living in Australia. But for me, there's a broader point to this story that I think also goes to what you were saying, Cenk. Yeah, it's frustrating that you have to fight so hard for things that shouldn't be hard to fight for, that shouldn't be fought for at all, that should just be common sense, like equality. But Right now in the United States, we're dealing with a very tumultuous time. We're dealing with a lot of despair, a lot of people who feel like fighting is leading to absolutely nothing, that there's no success being made. I know I have those moments quite often. However, keep in mind that when it comes to gay marriage in Australia, there had been 22 unsuccessful attempts in parliament to legalize same-sex marriage since 2004. That is amazing to me because that tells me you got to keep fighting. Regardless of what the issue is that you're most passionate about, keep fighting, fighting. Don't let despair, convince you otherwise. And don't get discouraged.
Generally, I'm a very optimistic guy, and people think, oftentimes people say, that's not realistic. That's not true. Optimism is warranted. Women got the right to vote when they couldn't vote in the first place. We won on the issue of slavery. We won the issue of civil rights. Now we're winning on the issue of gay rights, and we never would have won if we hadn't actually changed people's minds and changed the culture. But we have changed the culture through fighting hard and being right. And we won in the case of Australia because 61% of people in Australia said, yes, our fellow brothers and sisters who are gay are just as human as us. Isn't that amazing that that's an argument that had to be made and that had to be won? But it was, and we won it. So great work in Australia. Now let's take it to every single country on the planet. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.